how did you get started owning an organic shop in an airport?
Oh man. Yeah, so it's an interesting story. Me and my wife have always had an entrepreneurial drive. We were going to different conferences, like investing conferences, and we were traveling a lot. So we're in the airports a lot, and we're both super health conscious. She actually has an autoimmune disease, so she can't eat gluten. She can't eat dairy. So we were traveling a lot for these investing conferences and business conferences, and we couldn't find anything that we would eat in an airport. So we're packing our food, packing snacks. Fortunately, you can't pack drinks, but yeah, we're just always packing stuff. And we're going to these conferences where they're basically teaching you how to invest. They're teaching you like how to start businesses. And one of the lessons is, hey, you could start a business to solve one of your own problems. So we're like, well, one of our problems right now is getting good quality food in an airport. So yeah, with that problem, we started Nourish Markets, essentially to solve our own problem, to bring better quality organic foods to the airport space, and also provide people options that are gluten-free, dairy-free, and vegan. So that's kind of how it started. We started 3 years ago. We started initially in private spaces. An office building was our first location, then 2 government buildings, and then we just launched in Baltimore Airport last fall. So we have our first airport market at BWI.
That's so exciting. That is such a creative way to solve a problem. You have like your own, you have your own internal problem, and then you're like, how can we fix that?
Yeah, and I think that's a good way sometimes for those people who are interested in starting businesses. It's like, what problem is out there for you that you can solve with a business or an idea? Because oftentimes other people have the same problem. So if you can solve it for yourself, you're solving it for other people, you're adding value to the world, and that's how you make money. That's how you have a business. You're adding value to others. That's how it works.
How difficult was it to open a shop in an airport?
Oh boy. Yeah, it's difficult. It's a long process. But even just getting your foot in the door is difficult. So yeah, we got lucky. We made a connection with someone, actually through LinkedIn, and it just led to us getting the opportunity. And then it took us 9 months to actually get the store opened. But yeah, it's hard to get your foot in the door. But once you get your foot in the door and you're doing well, it's actually like a small niche community, and it's easier to kind of grow once you get in the space and you have a proven concept.
Where do you get your food from?
So we actually source most of our produce, if not all our produce, from local organic farmers. So the produce that is going in our salads, our bowls, our wraps, our breakfast, which we're making in-house in our kitchen in Delaware, we're sourcing the produce from local farms. It's like literally picked like 2 days before we're making it. So it's super fresh. We're cutting out the middlemen. We're going directly to the farmer. Super fresh, better quality. It has a longer shelf life, and it just tastes better for the customer.
How do you transport it to the shop?
To the airport. So we have refrigerated trucks. So we have our own driver right now. And yeah, we make it in our kitchen in Delaware. And then first thing the next morning at like 3 a.m, my driver gets there. He's driving it down to Baltimore, and he's restocking our smart fridges like 7 o'clock.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how we get it down there.
That's incredible. Why aren't there more small shops like this? What are big corporations trying to squash little businesses like you? Do you feel that, or is it just like what's the code that you cracked?
Yeah, I think the large corporations that actually kind of control the space, they just have better margins with lower quality food that has longer shelf life. So I just think they're hesitant to change because they have something that's still working for them. Having products that have longer shelf life, that have bigger margins, that are cheaper, easier to transport. I think that is why they haven't shifted yet. I mean, some of them are starting to shift in small ways, but it's harder for big companies to shift, where small new companies like startups can make those adjustments really quickly.
Wow. What kind of shelf life are we talking about with your food? Is it just one day and then whatever doesn't get sold gets tossed?
No, so actually, even though we don't use preservatives, anything artificial to give it a longer shelf life, we do have tamper-proof airtight containers, and we are basically cutting out the middlemen. So instead of it going from the farmer to a distributor, sometimes to like a second middleman or distributor to like the kitchen, then to the consumer, it's coming directly from the farmer to us. We have like our salads, bowls, wraps. Some of our breakfast stuff, they have the shortest shelf life, and it's 5 days. So it's actually not horrible what you would think, because you have that extra time kind of worked in because of us cutting out the middlemen, because of us also the way like we're making these foods, like we're like keeping the dressings on the side, like in a portion cup container, so like it's not all mixed together. So just how you're like curating the menu and these items, like you make it in a way that you know it's going to last longer. Like for instance, like with one of our items, we started with just using romaine lettuce, but romaine doesn't hold up well. So what we did was we mixed romaine with spinach and kale. So spinach and kale hold up much better. And for some reason, when romaine's with spinach and kale, it actually holds up better. So just like little things like that.
Tell me about your relationships with the farmers and the people who give you the food directly.
Part of how we came up with this concept was we actually lived on a small organic farm for 3 years, me and my wife. So we developed a great relationship with that farmer. That's one of our farmers. It's a small farm in Wilmington called Highland Orchards. And yeah, just developing basically like a network of farmers as we grow to provide that fresh organic produce is what we're looking to do.
Why is organic food important to you? Is it just health adversities that made you explore that, or do you think that everyone should explore organic food? What makes organic food interesting to you?
The reason I like organic is that pesticides and chemicals aren't used in the growing process, and when they are used, it could cause issues in your gut and other side effects. So to me, when I'm eating organic produce, it just sits better in my stomach. I feel better. And then additionally, there's actually more nutrients because it's coming directly from the local farm. So that's just why I choose to eat organic. I'm not saying everyone has to eat organic, but I just think it's more natural, and you're going to feel better if you're eating organic versus non-organic foods.
Yeah, at a certain age, you can tell the difference. Like an organic egg versus a processed egg, like you can tell the difference, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. And then, yeah, there's even like meats too. It's interesting. Meats, organic, for like an organic beef or organic chicken, it's like what they're fed. So they're fed organic. But then there's also like, there's like free range chicken. Then there's like pasture raised chicken. So it's just like how they're kept on the farm. Like, are they kept in a small confined space? Or are they able to roam more freely around the farm? Like a pasture raised cow is going to be a lot different than like an industrial cow. So just looking at all those little things, like when you're shopping at the food store.
It's huge. I love hearing this. Tell me a bit more about Kevin. Tell me the 5-minute version of your life story. How did you get here?
So I'm from South Jersey. East Greenwich. I went to Kingsway High School, and I actually went to school for business, accounting initially, and then I graduated with a degree in business management. But I didn't know what I wanted to do in high school. But so my family is either in law enforcement or owns Irish pubs. So my dad was a New Jersey State Trooper. My uncle was a New Jersey State Trooper. And then my uncle and my pop-up owned Irish pubs. And now my other uncle owns an Irish pub too. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. So that was like an option, like, hey, restaurant, pub, law enforcement. Decided to go the law enforcement route. My two other brothers also went that route, and the three of us became Delaware State Troopers. So we moved to Delaware, and the three of us, my older brother actually started a year or two before me and my younger brother, and then me and my younger brother went through the police academy together in Delaware.
How long were you state trooper for?
Almost 11 years. Yeah, I started in law enforcement at 19. I was a Class 2 police officer in Wildwood, New Jersey, and I did that for 2 summers, and then I was at Voorhees Township for a year, and then I got hired by the Delaware State Police in March of 2013. And did that until last fall.
What did life look like for you when you weren't working at for the state?
So I liked to. So one thing I really enjoyed doing, like one of my hobbies, was martial arts. So I did jiu-jitsu, boxing, wrestling, kickboxing, Muay Thai. I got into martial arts, or actually like MMA, where I trained for a few fights. Never actually got to the cage. I had 2 fight camps. In both cases, my opponent got injured like the week before, so they never happened. I look at it as a blessing because I'm almost happy I didn't go down that route. So that's how I started when I was a younger trooper. I was like training in MMA, trying to get fights, and then I actually kind of pivoted away from that. Realized I didn't want to get hit in the head anymore. And then I wanted to do something where I was going to push myself outside my comfort zone. My biggest fear, and it's still one of my biggest fears, is public speaking. So I was like, what can I do to push myself outside my comfort zone to overcome this fear? So I found acting classes, local acting classes in Newark, Delaware, and I went to this acting class. And I thought I was just going to audit the class and sit in the back, like, of the room. And as you probably know, if you ever took an acting class, like, that's usually not how it works. So I got to the class and I'm like, I'm just going to hide in the back. And of course, the instructor, Lee Irvin, who's like an awesome guy, ended up becoming really great friends with him. He calls me out, brings me to the front, gets me like involved in the class. And I ended up really liking it, enjoying it, and went down that route for a little bit. Ended up eventually becoming a SAG actor. And then I got into stunts with my martial arts background. I got into fight scenes, doing different things like that. I was going up to New York for a little bit.
Very cool. And what's your acting career looking like right now? Or is that something that was just a chapter?
Yeah, I'd like to get back into it. I was actually, I was writing too. I wrote a few screenplays. One of my screenplays, it was like featured animation, and I adapted it into a children's book, self-published. It's something I like to get back to. It's something I'm still passionate about doing, especially the acting. I don't know if I want to do the stunts, but I'd like to get back into the acting, into the writing. But I kind of put that on hold since the business, Nourish Markets, really started taking off. And that needs like my full attention right now. But yeah, it's definitely on my bucket list to get back into acting and even writing.
That is quite the repertoire of skills you've built in the past 14 odd years. Is there anything that really stuck out to you that you might have learned about people being an actor, writing this novel, serving as a state trooper, and building your own business? Is there any like really core concept that might have jumped into mind about people that you learned?
I think people just want to be heard, treated with respect. We could start with my core concepts. We
could jump into that. Well, it's funny you say that because one of my core values is inspire feeling. people don't remember what you say or do; they remember how you made them feel. Is something I think about all the time, and respect is huge. Making someone feel respected.
Treating someone how you want to be treated.
Yeah, yeah.
And putting yourself like in their shoes too, like, and that's like what empathy is, like putting yourself in their shoes.
Tell me about giving back.
I think it's important, or should be a goal of yours, to give back financially, give back with your time, give back with your talent, a gesture, even like a smile, just giving back to others, especially financially. If you're giving back, even if it's a small amount, what actually happens, you're changing your mindset from scarcity to abundance. And you're basically telling the universe, instead of me, how can you serve me? You're giving, you're saying, how can I serve? And then the universe responds, how can I serve? So, I don't know if you believe in karma, but even if you don't, I think if you just look at it as, hey, I'm changing my perspective, that I'm giving, and now I'm seeing abundance. So I'm seeing more opportunities because I'm giving. I'm making more connections with people. So ultimately, I think it actually leads to your success by giving. And it leads to just more fulfillment and more happiness in your life.
It's interesting when you start giving, you create that abundance mindset for yourself, but you also are shaping that perspective from other people looking at you. People are seeing you as a source of power, of giving, and people like that. People want to be around people who give. It looks like you have your stuff together when you're able to give. People like that. They want to do business with that. They trust people who give.
That's a part of the benefits that you receive when you give.
Can you tell me a little bit about what inspired this desire to give back?
I'm always trying to work on myself. So since I was in college, I got into all the self-help books, the motivational books. I listened to motivational speakers like Wayne Dyer, Les Brown, Tony Robbins. So that kind of like started me down that route of just wanting to do better, wanting to make myself better, but then also do better for the world. And like we talked about, just giving, it's really your and this is going to sound like in a sense selfish, like you're giving because you're getting back, like you're feeling fulfilled.
Did the health adversities that your wife experienced, or didn't you have a couple of health adversities you were experiencing maybe 4 years ago?
Not really. I mean, I
thought there was like maybe you were talking to me about some back pain or something 4 years ago.
Yeah, so that's actually why I stopped competing in MMA, because I hurt my back, and I wanted to find another hobby, and that led me to acting.
Did any of the pain that you and your wife experienced in life help contribute to this desire to give back?
I think it did, because when you experience pain and you overcome it, then you know, in a sense, what other people are experiencing. Like you can kind of empathize with their pain. So it's almost in a way like if you do go through a hardship and you overcome it, now you're equipped to help other people going through that same hardship. So I guess, yeah, we had some hardships. My wife with an autoimmune disease that just kind of restricted what she could and couldn't eat. And then me with, some issues with my back and my shoulder when I was younger.
Can you tell me a little bit about what comes to mind when you think about changing the world?
I think changing the world, or just making a difference with your life, can happen in a lot of ways. Just being a part of something bigger than you. serving something bigger than you, creating something bigger than you. Just, to me, it's making the world a better place than when it was when you got here. Like going through your life and the world is now a better place because you lived it.
Kevin, what would you say to somebody who's interested in exploring being an entrepreneur?
I would say that oftentimes it's glamorized by podcasters and things like that, that, hey, being an entrepreneur is what everyone should want to do. And I'm not saying anyone can be an entrepreneur. I'm not saying that they can't, but it's you definitely need to understand that it's going to be the hardest thing you've ever done in your life, the most stressful thing you've ever done in your life. You're going to feel stressed for like prolonged periods of time. And it's going to be a roller coaster. You're going to have days or even weeks that are up and then like days and weeks that are down. So I will say like taking the chance. So I left the state police. I left a career where I had a salary, where I had a pension, where I had benefits to essentially go for this goal, this dream. Just understand that if you are like, when you do burn the boats and there's like, so to speak, you burn the boat, just make sure you're doing it at the right time, like where you feel comfortable with taking that risk. Cause like you'll hear a lot of people tell you to just burn the boats and go for it. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, but just like look at your situation personally and see if you can handle the stress that comes with it, because it's going to be a lot of stress. Like, so I was on the SWAT team. I went through SWAT training. I went through Navy dive school. I was a Delaware State Police scuba diver. I've been through a lot of high stress stuff, but this being an entrepreneur, actually like going for it where like your livelihood and you're supporting your family, like it's on the line. Nothing compares to that from what I've been through in my life. So just, I think for those that want to start it, like just set that expectation in your mind that it's going to be hard. Like it's going to be the hardest thing you've ever done. But if you set that expectation and you're expecting that, then when you face those adversities and those challenges, you're going to be like, oh, well, I was expecting this. It's going to be hard. So now I know I can overcome this. Versus like if you tell yourself, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be successful. It's going to be maybe hard, but like I just don't think people really understand how hard it actually is going to be.
So you make your own hours, you know? You get to wake up whenever you feel like. And
what I will say about making your own hours, it's true to a sense, but I'm definitely working way more than I've ever worked. But in a sense, you do make your own hours. Like if I have to watch Stella, like I can adjust my schedule, but then I'm working till like 10 p.m. at night, or I'm waking up at 5 a.m. to work, you know? So there's pros and cons. So I think it just really depends on the person you are and like what you're looking for, what is important to you in life. Like, because not everyone's built to be an entrepreneur. Some people make great entrepreneurs, like employees, and they do really well building companies, helping build companies. And it's just like what works best for you. I think you have to just really take a hard look at that before you do potentially burn the boats, so to speak, and go for something.
Can you tell me how important it is to celebrate wins when you come across them as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I think it is important to celebrate wins. Because if you're not celebrating wins, I think you could eventually get burnt out. I think you have to celebrate the wins, because there's going to be wins, but then there's going to be a lot of like losses too. So celebrating the wins, learning from the wins, not just celebrating it, actually like learning from it. Debriefing is like what we do, like what we used to do at SWAT is after every mission, you would come back, the whole team in a room, and you would call it debrief. You would go through the entire mission, where people did well and where people messed up, and just like calling out the mess ups, calling out the things that were done well. So just doing that in business too, as an entrepreneur, like debriefing things that went well, debriefing when things didn't go well. I think it's really helpful. I look like the way I look at things is I use a lot of what I learned from law enforcement, especially like the SWAT team, and trying to implement some of those things into business, into like being a leader for my team.
Inspiring stuff.
Yeah.
How do you schedule these debriefings? What does it look like to make this a mandatory part of, your schedule to sit down, celebrate these wins and point out, growth improvements to the team?
It's something I have to get better at. Me and my wife will often do it at night or like at the end of the week. We'll talk about the week and talk about like our goals for the next week and our schedule for the next week. It's something I'd like to do more with my team too, where I'm meeting with them and talking about things that are going well, things that are not going well. I want to like also hear their goals, like what they want to accomplish. Because we're working together to achieve the same thing.
What excites you these days about the business, about entrepreneurial endeavors?
It's fun building a team. I like building a team. It's stressful, but at the same time, it's pretty cool. Bringing people on from something you created, and then like you're providing their income, like you're helping them, pay for their bills and stuff like that. It's kind of cool building a team and working together to achieve the same goals. So that's fun. It's fun working with my wife. It's fun growing the business, like just getting new locations, working new partnerships. We're going through our first fundraising round. It's called a seed round. It's like, it used to be called Friends and Family round. But yeah, it's just all that stuff. It's exciting.
Can you tell me a little bit about your plans for scaling this business?
So our focus with Nourish Markets is airports. That's where we want to be known. That's where we want to build a brand in the airport space. So that's kind of like where we're putting our efforts is the airport space.
Will there be anything different about running your business once you have multiple locations as opposed to just the one location that you can kind of keep an eye on?
Yes. So right now we have a commissary kitchen that we're sharing. When we have more locations, we're actually working to relocate to our own kitchen. So we go from like small batch production to, in a sense, mass scale production. So we have a team of 4 right now in our kitchen, and we would eventually scale to a team of 20, 50, what have you. So just hiring more people. But the focus is, number one, food safety. But right up there with food safety is quality of the food. So as we scale, the goal is to make sure that our food stays the same quality. And that's hard to do. So bringing on the right people that are really passionate about what we're doing, I think will help us achieve that and stay on track with that.
Because I'm assuming you go to the shop once every day or so at the airport?
So the airport, so how it works is we have smart fridges. We basically build a market with these smart fridges, and they're unmanned. So most people are familiar with the Just Walk Out technology from Amazon. It's basically that technology, but inside just a fridge. So it's a locked glass retail fridge. Customers come up to the fridge. They scan their credit card. They use Apple Pay. They use our app. It unlocks the fridge. They open up the door like they would in a retail shop, like a 7-Eleven or something. And then they just grab our products out of the fridge. They can pick it up. They can look at the ingredients. They can grab multiple products. They can really interact with the products versus like a vending machine where it's just vending out. You can only get one at a time. So they pick what they want. They shut the door. we have cameras in the fridge that use computer vision and artificial intelligence. So it's tracking what they take out, what they put back, and then it'll charge their card, whatever they take out. And when they shut the door, it locks. It charges their card for what they take. So we actually are leveraging technology to make this food more accessible, in a sense more affordable, because we don't have to pay the staffing costs, so we can actually pass that cost savings to the customer.
Which of your core values do you feel inspired to kind of share with your team and kind of inspire growth in that area?
So one of my core values is work on yourself. So your mind, your body, your soul. And it's an idea of, it's in a sense like it sounds selfish, but at the same time it's also selfless, because when you're working on yourself, you can give more. Like you can give more of yourself. You can help others. When your cup's full, you can give. Like if your cup's empty, you can't give. You can't help others. You can't inspire others. So working on yourself is one of my core values. Mind, body, soul. And the way I do it, and I'm not an expert, by the way. I'm not like a self-help guru. I just want to have that disclaimer. I'm still learning, and I can just share with you what works for me, and hopefully it resonates with your audience. But maybe they take pieces of it. Maybe they know something better, right? But what works for me is, number one is your body. So eating healthy, eating real whole foods with real ingredients is just going to make you feel better. It's going to make you perform your best. This is going to make you perform optimal. Exercising. So making sure you're exercising, moving your body. What I do is I go to the gym 5 times a week and I'm lifting weights. And then 1 or 2 times a day, I'm actually going on like long walks with my wife, Sophia, and our 21-month-old Stella is her name. So we're doing like low intensity cardio a few times a day. And then you have that like higher intensity weight training. So eating right, exercising, moving, even if like you don't want to go to the gym, like exercising could still be like yoga, or it could be hiking. It could just be going on walks. Like maybe that's a great first step for someone, is to just go out there and move your body. And then working on yourself too, like whatever you're passionate about, whatever you're trying to like learn, setting aside some time for yourself to do that. Like some maybe time by yourself where you're reading, you're writing, you're listening to a podcast. I think that's a part of like working on yourself.
Tell me a little bit about that kind of connection you have with self, and viewing your body as a tool that you're going to forge it to be as healthy and strong as possible, while you're emotionally pushing that bar, to push yourself out of your comfort zone with the skills you've been building and entrepreneurialism.
Yeah, I think if you view your body as a temple, where if you treat your body right, it's going to treat you right. So eating the right foods, exercising, getting adequate sleep, getting out in the sunlight too is really good. But it's going to serve you if you're taking care of yourself. It's going to serve you and allow you to achieve what you want in life, allow you to be happy. Like, so your health is so important. Like you could ask the richest person in the world, if they're on their deathbed, right? What are they going to want? They would give all their money in a second for their health back, or in some cases, give all their money to be younger.
A healthy man has 1,000 wishes. A man without health has 1.
Yeah. Yeah, and when it's taken away, I mean, it really, I guess, sinks in.
Tell me a bit about how faith fits into your life in a practical sense.
So what I like to do is I have a morning routine and a night routine. So in the morning, the first thing I do when I wake up is pray.
What does prayer look like?
So prayer to me is just talking to God and being thankful and grateful for what you have, and also talking about things that you want as well. So if prayer is talking to God, meditation is kind of like God talking to you, like trying to meditate and connect. So I also meditate. I'll do that in the morning, and I'll also do that at night. So I like to pray and I like to meditate. Kind of get grounded first thing in the morning, and then use that before I go to bed at night.
Very cool. What are some tips or tricks that you do to kind of rinse out all the chaos of running your own business during the day and get you into the meditative state at night?
Well, I like to read. That relaxes me. I like to listen to inspirational videos, listen to uplifting podcasts. And then for me with meditating, I do different techniques. One technique is I'll just lay there on my back, like in a comfortable position, and just focus on your breathing. Like I'll start by breathing heavy, and then just breathing normally. And I actually learned this in an acting class, but you pretend there's like energy or warmth like going through your body. So it starts like at your toe, and then it works up to your knee, and then it works up to your stomach and your chest and your arms, and your head. I guess just meditating is just grounding yourself and kind of cutting out the noise, like the everyday chatter and noise, and just like trying to not think of anything, and just being aware of your thoughts too. And then that helps you. To me, it helps me throughout the day, being more aware of what I'm thinking about, and trying to be as grateful as possible. Like when I'm meditating, I'm trying to feel gratitude and love. And sometimes, like throughout the day, if it's stressful, it's busy, you get in like a lower energy state. And meditating, like even just in the morning or at night, it just makes you more aware of your thoughts, so you can like self-assess and say, oh wait, yeah, I'm like thinking this, that's why I'm stressful. Like how can I change my energy so now I'm feeling good and positive? So that's what meditation has helped me with, just being more aware of my thoughts throughout the day and trying to self-assess throughout the day.
Kevin, you've been building these skills as a martial artist, as an actor, to be a better public speaker, as an entrepreneur, to help people put healthy food in their bodies. Tell me what health means to you, and like why why you find such joy helping people pursue health.
Health to me is feeling and being the best version of yourself. So mind, body, soul encompasses health and wellness. So feeling your best mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. That to me is what health and wellness is.
It's almost like we have such a short time on this world, like in this life. Why not live it optimally?
Yeah, be the best version of yourself. Go for your goals, your dreams. Don't be afraid to take risks. Tony Robbins, a motivational speaker I'm a big fan of, he always says, progress equals happiness. So constantly trying to improve yourself actually leads to happiness. Like pushing yourself outside your comfort zone, doing things that make you better actually leads to your happiness.
Where can we find you and your business?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram or LinkedIn, Kevin Macauley. You can also follow Nourish Markets on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and TikTok. We also have a website, nourishmarkets.com.
Where can we find the book that you published?
That is on Amazon. It's called The Bee That Danced the Bop, The Power of Music and Chasing a Dream. So you can actually order that on Amazon if you would like.
Kevin, thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Chris. Appreciate it.
Mic drop.